Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of experimentation with the incredible white mask liquid Frisket, the incredible nib and eraser, along with the wet media Dura-Lar film. Now this is 9 by 12 in size and it's a 0.004 thickness. And I am going to start off with just a test sheet and just using the nib to make some marks on the film. Now this is a two-sided film. It's coated on both sides and it is clear. So I'm going to just use this scrap piece and start to do some experimentation, some mark making. I'm also got my Amsterdam acrylic inks, also in a variety of colors, to then add color to the wet media film. All right, so this is dried, and it's a little hard to see because of the glare. And right here is where I had some lift off when I was moving the acrylic ink with my finger. So that's something, especially when you have so much liquid on it, that you want to probably refrain from doing. And so that's a little bit of a tip there. I am going to lift some of this off, and then I'm going to create a second layer with the acrylic ink as well. All right, now that that has dried, I'm going to come in with some more acrylic inks in the areas where I've laid down some additional liquid frisket. And I'm just adding water so it acts as more like a carrier. The last time I rubbed and I had a little bit come up here. So this time I'm going to come in with a paintbrush and just move that color around a little bit. All right, I used my hair dryer on this and got it all dry, and now I'm going to come in with my eraser and pick up all of the liquid, the frisket, from all the areas I didn't pick it up before, and then all the new areas where I put it down for another layer of color. I don't know if you can see this already, but you can really see some of the layering where I had put the frisket down. Initially it's real clear like this, and then like right in here you can see a second layer coming over. It's really kind of neat to see the different colors that I applied between the first layer and the second layer of frisket. And here you can see the squiggly line and the lightness of it in comparison to the back, the top and the bottom here, and then where I had added the frisket a second time for the polka dots, and those are crisp and white, and we can really see the layers in here. That's really fun. This should give you an idea of different things you can do with this film. You can put other papers behind it, having the text kind of peeking through. You can use them as layers for focal points, showing through what's behind it. So this could be a lot of fun to use. All right, so I'm going to use this TCW stencil called Texture Wall, and I think it's really cool, the different, it almost is like a wall, but it could also be likened to the layers of the earth. So I am going to see what it's like using the small tib and lay down the frisket. Gonna try and stay away from the edges and just follow the guide of the stencil. It also could be for some really neat, interesting color work. Okay, so maybe do less, because once it started to dry, it was connected to the stencil and it started to want to pull up. So I think what I'm going to do is pull this off, let this dry, lay it back down, and continue on with what I'm creating here using the stencil. All right, so I have this totally stenciled. I was very random because I'm going to do the color on this one a little different than I had done it on the mark making tester sheet that I had done. I am going to go in lightest color on the bottom, and as I go to my multiple layers, I'm going to get darker and darker in my colors. So I'm going to start with this deep yellow, Azo Yellow Deep, and I'm going to do it all over the surface. Where it doesn't go, I'm not going to push it, and if I need to move it around a bit, I'm going to use my brush, and then I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to come back in with my stencil and add in some of the blank areas with the Frisket, and then come in, once it's dry, come in with my next darker color, and so forth. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I will probably come in with water here to get things to move around a little bit. I've gotten everything dry, I'm going to come in with my stencil once again and randomly pick areas that I didn't already put the Frisket down. And I'm going to do that for the whole background. I'm not going to use up all the space because I want to save some areas for the red, or the darkest color. All right, so I've added some more, and I've turned it upside down, and now I'm going to come in with the Azo Orange, so slightly darker. All right, so I've put a final layer of Frisket on, and now I'm going to come in with my Perial Red and just do the similar, move it around with my brush and some water. Now that that is good and dry, I'm going to come in with the eraser and start lifting the Frisket areas up. And as I'm going through this and pulling it up, I have some more ideas that I could have applied to this. And one thing that I didn't think of doing as I was processing this sheet was I possibly should have started with laying down some initial color really thinly onto the film, and then coming in, not covering the whole thing, but covering some of it, and then coming in with the first layer of the Frisket, then adding another color, maybe lifting a little bit off, adding some more Frisket, and again the second color, etc. And that may have given us some more variation and not so much clear spaces. Well, thank you for coming along and watching. I hope that this has inspired you to get onto your art table and experiment with the Dura-Lar wet media film along with Frisket and acrylic inks. I know for sure that I will be having another session doing this and trying some additional ideas.